Hello, guys. Welcome back to the Adventures of the Waste podcast. I'm your host, Trickster, and today we're going to be talking about, describing up to my life to this point why I wanted to start podcasting. So we're going to start at my birth. Can't really describe that, but it happened. From there, I came to be 6 years old. I started getting into gaming. I think my first game was probably Call of Duty. It was great at the time, but honestly, I just not really like the game anymore. Then I moved on to at I think 7, started playing Fallout 3, Fallout in Vegas, and those were great games. I still play them up to this day. It's very great. It's fun. They're amazing games with just detailed stories. But I tried Fallout 4, didn't really like that much. 76 I haven't played. But Alive heard a lot of bad reviews about it and just awful. So I don't think I'll be playing that one. From there, I got a PS4. I'm playing that. I think I stopped here recently because I just got bored of it. I like the whole online aspect, being able to talk to your friends and all. But honestly, I don't really like talk to many people on there. I'll be occasionally have a conversation with one of my friends or so, but not too much. I think another thing I'd like to talk about is how these podcasts are going to be coming. Now, how these podcasts are going to be made. I am using a voice recorder and I am copying them through a app that allows me to go into MP4 because this is originally MP3. You can't load it and upload MP3 to YouTube. Now, as you saw in my comment on the last video, I said I'd be doing it at a simple time. No, not a simple time, like a direct time. I am actually not doing it on direct time. I'm not sure if I'll have a solid, podcasting schedule because honestly, I haven't. This is like the beginning, and I if nobody really listens to it, and I've just got like one viewer, like maybe a subscriber, I don't think I'll podcast. But if people actually start listening to it like a lot, which they'll be like in the future, maybe like a couple years from now, if that ever does happen, I might actually make a schedule for it. But right now, it's just random, and when I want to podcast or if I feel bored and want to do so. So that's how that's gonna work. I said 6 p.m. Central Time last time. Not Central, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, if that ever does come to be. Now, from there, I can talk about how I got into podcasting, which was, I was in class one day, and, I found an app that allowed you to podcast, and, I found a voice recorder. I just started speaking my thoughts. This was in, like, a free time, and I just started speaking my thoughts, and, I was like, yeah, this feels good. I like speaking my thoughts out. It was not. I don't have too many people to talk to each day. I don't like explain my entire life to them, but it's fun this way. So I love the idea of just being able to put your mind out there from the safeties of just sitting behind a laptop. In the future, I might not just be at this laptop in the bedroom. I might be at a studio or something cool like that. That's my goal in life. Because I heard a lot of people always like they do like solid jobs. I never really liked that much because these jobs. I understand getting a job is like a key importance of life, but I feel like it just jobs in general are it just doesn't feel like it for me because I don't want to be this guy in a cubicle who's just depressed about his life. Like if I ever worked at McDonald's and the most amazing time ever, I love working there. I would stay working there, but probably won't do that because I don't like fast food that much. But a lot of people have told me, "Oh, you have to go to college, you gotta get a degree," and stuff like. Yeah, I understand that, but like I feel like YouTube is my true passion because you can do whatever you wish, whatever you want to do, like not just what other people want you to do. Like, oh, you got to do this, or oh, you got to do that, or da da da. YouTube allows you to make your own like life. It just make your life easier. So come to a job I would hate. This is like a job I like, and like this is just like it's a very subtle feeling, but when you feel it, it's just yeah. I don't want to be the rest of my life a doctor or something. I don't want to be that. It pays good money, but you don't get any fun out of it. I mean, when's the last time you've heard somebody go to their job and say, "Oh yeah, I had fun"? Nobody does. Nobody does because they don't like it. And yeah, I get paid. But I understand paying all this stuff, but why do you work there? You don't enjoy it. You don't have a time there, and you get treated like garbage. And I would never want to work at a place that I just hate. And people hated me, and my paycheck was, oh my god, it was booming. But who wants to work at a job where you hate your job and you make good money? Like, as going back on the McDonald's thing, I don't even care if I made like $200 at that place every week. Like, I would just love to work there. If people, if it was a great job, a great time, which I probably don't really want to, because it's McDonald's. But yeah, this is goes on to the fact of YouTube allows you to just have a great, just like choose your own schedule, do what you want. Like, instead of the normal, like, yeah, like this and that, the brick and mortar type thing. And this brings it back to the thing of school. Like, school, why do we gotta go to school? I don't understand. Like, nursing school and, job, like career school, I understand. But you kind of have to go to those to get like a solid, high paying job. But what's the point of elementary and high school? That's like the main thing. Like, whenever the question gets asked, when are we going to use this information? It's just highly scoffed at. Like, like, why would you ever ask that question? That is the most important question you could be asking. When is this stuff going to be useful? Instead of learning classes like history and, history in life or mathematics for ages, why are we learning that when we could be learning like how to talk to people? Like, I didn't really like talk to people up until maybe the fourth grade when I started actually getting more social, or how to deal with somebody who has special needs. That's so important. Or how to file a loan. I mean, how to apply for a mortgage, how to get a loan, stuff like that. Why do we gotta learn? Oh, this guy sailed across the sea, and oh, this guy didn't. Like, what is the importance in that? I don't understand. Like, I want to address my thoughts to the school system and how we need to abolish the whole math science. Well, not science, I guess science could be useful, but we need to like kind of abolish that and like put in like different classes that might actually be useful to youth. Because if we keep going in the same direction we are today, our kids are just going to be stupid. Because yeah, most people who graduate college have a only 1 in 4 people that graduate college from data shows that they actually get a job. So that means this means the other 3 people they're unemployed. Like, when you get out of college, you expect like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get a solid job. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get this. That rarely happens, and sometimes you're just kind of stuck because you can't do anything. So that's why I'm saying we should maybe abolish today's elementary, middle, and high school learning, because we need to learn about more important subjects of today's career, today's technology. Like, this school system originally based off from the century worker days, where following orders was a very important deed. That's why kids went to school to learn that effort. But why are we teaching it today? We need to be teaching like how to work computers, how to deal with if somebody is on the ground bleeding, and stuff like that. Not what's 12 divided by 1,256. That's not learning. I'm never gonna apply that. There will be no case where I ever do apply that. When will that be a case? Because I understand some people today still use math, but usually that's very basic math. They don't go on to that like the show your work type thing. They use maybe add, subtraction. Like, I don't care. I wouldn't mind in first grade if you learned add, subtract, division, and multiply, and then you kind of shoved all that all the way, and that was like extra skills you would use. And then in the higher grades, you start learning about actual life importances. Because today, not really anyone is gonna want a guy who got a degree and can't express his ideas correctly. That's like the main, that's the key importance. You don't want to go to school to just, I don't know what I'm rambling on about, but I'm just like, I'm trying to make a point of, today's school system. It's not good. It's not helping really anyone. Because, sitting in class, like I did, I sat in class and we learned about the Roanoke mystery. When will that ever be applied? I feel like that should be an extracurricular. Like, I feel like science, math, and history should be an extracurricular if you want to do them. never ever make kids learn about stuff that will never be important to them. Because you can learn you can learn what dry ice does in water in maybe the fifth, seventh grade, but will that ever be useful? No, because there will never be any point in my life where somebody asks the question, "This is my boss. Oh, what does dry ice do in water if it's or you're fired?" And it's like, I don't know. And it's like, oh yeah, it's just stuff like that. I feel like we should be learning like those the important things in life, not the extra added side notes, not those. You want the solid actual knowledge. So maybe school systems will change, maybe they won't. But I feel like this should be a wake up call. Now kids nowadays are like working with electronics, which and like nowadays electronics kind of rule over the whole platform of life. Now instead of having to work out all the information on paper, we have a calculator. Instead of trying to look up this information in books, we have Google. Like we invented those things to use to make life so much easier. Why are we going back in time with this stuff? Because I understand that learning math, history, and science is a very important key thing, but it will never apply to actual life. History, you might use in a trivia question. Math, you might use in some maybe applying for a loan or something. Science, I don't really know where science would be important in this case. I don't know. I mean, I guess you could use it to, I don't know, document things, but like entirely, we've been using this system for way too long. We need to abolish it, get rid of it. We don't need it. We need more important systems for children, not important systems where learning and like I feel like we shouldn't be determined on a letter on a piece of paper. Like that's not how things should go. That's just getting an F feels like the end of the world. Like you make yourself look out to be stupid. But when you do something else, like hey, I'm really good at painting. Hey, I'm really good at drawing. Hey, I know how to work electronics really well. People don't seem to care about that. Even parents say like, "Oh, but you need to study about that." Like, whenever I do go to school, I just feel like a failure because I can't do things correctly. Like, why are we making them feel bad when honestly we're doing bad here? We're making them learn useless things. And another thing about school, I feel like you should choose your own like learning paths. Like, say one kid wants to be an artist, another kid wants to be a lawyer. Say they apply for certain things instead of learning just useless information. Now, I want to thank you guys for listening to my podcast. I might have another one out tomorrow. But thank you guys if you did join in and listen and listen to me right on about things. This is just me explaining what school in my life, a little bit of my life, a little bit of school, mostly just how saying that school isn't really well, I don't know. Like I'm saying like school should be a little more different because we're not gonna. I feel like this stupid system. But yeah, I want to thank you guys for listening. My name is Trickster. I will put my email in the description if you guys ever want to hop on and talk to me. I think what I'm going to use is Discord so you guys can hop on a call and we can talk for a little bit. But I want to thank you guys for listening and good night. Hope you guys enjoy a good time or whatever you're doing. Hope you enjoy that, and I might see you tomorrow.